Welcome back to Hannity. So in a shocking turn of events, one of the biggest losers from yesterday's much-anticipated Comey testimony was the Destroy Trump propaganda media. Now, we're going to break down just how James Comey humiliated the mainstream press and why they're now facing a massive credibility crisis in tonight's mini monologue. All right, so yesterday, the former FBI director, James Comey, J. Edgar Comey, told the Senate Intel Committee that many of the media's Russia collusion stories are just dead wrong. Watch this.
There have been many stories purportedly based on classified information about lots of stuff, but especially about Russia, that are just dead wrong. The challenge, and I'm not picking on reporters about writing stories about classified information, is the people talking about it often don't really know what's going on.
All right, now after that testimony, even Mr. Thrill Up His Leg, Chris Matthews, he himself came to this stunning conclusion. I was even shocked. Take a look.
The assumption of the critics of the president, of his pursuers, you might say, is that somewhere along the line in the last year, the president had something to do with colluding with the Russians, something to do with the helping hand, encouraging them, feeding their desire to affect the election in some way. Some role they played, some conversation he had with Michael Flynn or Paul Manafort or somewhere. And yet what came apart this morning was that theory.
Pursuers. Now, the black helicopter crowd, the tinfoil hack Russia conspiracy theories being pushed by the media, the Destroy Trump media, have now come apart at the seams. And now it's all been wrong. They've been lying to you, the American people. Now, of course, MSNBC was not the only outlet having to backtrack. The Hill is reporting that, quote, CNN issues correction after Comey's statement contradicts their reporting. And even ABC was also forced to update a story following Comey's remarks. And then, of course, there is the paper of record, so-called paper of record, the New York Times. They were singled out yesterday for being flat out wrong. I'd argue again. Take a look.
That report by the New York Times was not true. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, in the main, it was not true.
On February 14th, the New York Times published a story, the headline of which was, Trump campaign aides had repeated contacts with Russian intelligence. You were asked earlier if that was an inaccurate story, and you said, in the main. Would it be fair to characterize that story as almost entirely wrong?
Yes.
All right, now the New York Times, they're desperately trying to save face, first issuing a tweet that reads, quote, "We are looking into James Comey's statements, and we will report back with more information as soon as we can." And then later publishing a full article entitled Comey Disputes New York Times article about Russia investigation, where they tepidly stood by their reporting and openly wondered why Comey rebuked their coverage. I guess we won't be holding our breath for a full retraction and apology. So despite some widespread embarrassment for all these people in the Destroy Trump media following the Comey testimony, you think we can ever expect them to stop spreading their fake news? In other words, land the black helicopters, get back to reality? Or will their crisis in credibility continue to grow?